The House will come to order.
House DFL and Republican caucuses began the week by holding virtual press conferences to announce legislation they say will help people and businesses affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. House Majority Leader Ryan Winkler and Representative Andrew Carlson outlined a proposal to provide protections to employees in the hospitality and service industries who are laid off due to a declared emergency or ownership change.
Restaurant workers, hotel workers, event center workers join the list along with firefighters, police officers, nurses, and doctors who are on the front lines of COVID-19. When the economy opens back up, when people feel safe and secure going to events again, the workers who've been there smiling, taking care of them, working for them for years need to be back on the job.
The bill won't create any additional financial cost to businesses. It simply requires employers to rehire the workers who they employed prior to COVID-19 as business demands allow for it.
House File 39 was approved as amended by the House Judiciary Finance and Civil Law Committee on Tuesday and moved to the House Ways and Means Committee. On the other side of the aisle, some Republicans continue to argue the best way to help Minnesotans is to end or modify Governor Tim Walz's emergency powers. Representative Dave Baker briefed the media Monday on his proposal to create a pathway to reopen many businesses affected by full or partial shutdowns.
This bill offers a roadmap showing how we can actually open up quickly and as quickly as possible without unpredictable announcements that we've been hearing for several months. Businesses deserve better, and yes, we deserve a plan. Having these sporadic 2 p.m. press conferences is not a good way for businesses to sort of see what's the next week going to look like. We have to get Minnesota businesses back open because I think we can honestly manage better than if we just have one person announcing whenever they do, and then we start scrambling and start going at that point. So I think this graphic just kind of shows if everything stays the way it is, we literally should be able to be open 100% by May 1st.
A proposal that would require a face covering in certain instances during the COVID-19 pandemic was held over by the House Health, Finance, and Policy Committee on Tuesday. House File 604, sponsored by Representative Sidney Jordan, would require face masks when inside a business or a public setting, waiting outside to enter a business or public setting, riding on public transportation, and when using some other forms of transportation, outdoors and it's not possible to be socially distant from others who are not members of the same household, and common areas of a multi-unit dwelling.
In Minnesota, we've been fortunate to live in a state that has had a mask policy in place since July. The Center for Disease Control did an earlier release of a report on February 5th that compared states, including Minnesota, with mask mandates in place to states that didn't, and found that these policies have resulted in lower positivity rates, lower hospitalization rates, and lower healthcare costs.
The House Transportation, Finance, and Policy Committee unanimously approved a proposal Thursday that supporters say will help curb DWI violations. House File 502, sponsored by Representative Kelly Moeller, would, in part, make it easier for more DWI offenders to take part in the state's Interlock Ignition program, the system that can detect alcohol and prevent drunk driving.
The purpose of the bill is to make our roads safer for Minnesotans through the use of Ignition Interlock and also removing unnecessary barriers that are currently in place that make our roads less safe.
The bipartisan proposal would also eliminate a requirement that individuals take an examination before being eligible for license reinstatement and limit the use of so-called whiskey plates. The next stop for House File 502 is the House Public Safety and Criminal Justice Reform Finance and Policy Committee. The final House floor session of the week included an attempt by Republicans to modify Governor Walz's emergency powers and eliminate restrictions on school schedules and closures. Representative Ron Kreischa's motion to suspend the rules to take up his proposal failed 70-64. For more free, nonpartisan coverage of the Minnesota House of Representatives, check out our Session Daily work at house.mn/sessiondaily.